Before I let you go home, in the book of Luke, chapter 23, through to the last verse is verse 38. In Luke chapter 3, verse 23 through verse 38. And I believe that every word of God is rich with information. Even the genealogies. I think one of the most powerful chapters in the Bible is 1 Chronicles chapter number 1, and it's just full of genealogy. And if you can delve down into genealogy, you'll get a lot out of it. And we have the genealogy of Jesus in Luke chapter 3, verse 23 to verse 38. And so Matthew reveals Jesus. I'm just giving you a little hint on what I'm going to be preaching about next Sunday. Matthew reveals Jesus as the King of Kings. Mark's revealed Jesus as the faithful servant. John speaks of Jesus as the only God. And Luke speaks of Jesus as the perfect man. And so it's in Luke chapter 3 from verse 23 to verse 38, the end of that chapter, that Luke gives the proof that he was a man and that he was the perfect man. So if you were to look at verse 23, you'd see the name Jesus there as he begins his ministry. Does everyone see that? And then if you look to the last chapter, last verse of that chapter, the last word that you see there is God. And Luke gives the genealogy from Jesus backwards, Jesus verse 23 backwards to God, verse 38. And in that also is the fact that Luke gives the genealogy the second time in that same series of verses from God, Luke 3:38, to Jesus, Luke 3:23. Did anyone see that? Are you looking? Amen. So in verse 23, Luke is given the genealogy beginning with Jesus and working backwards till we get to verse 38 and ends with God. And then he gives the genealogy the second time by looking at verse 38 that begins with God and looking forward to Jesus at verse 23. And isn't that interesting? That if you took one finger and put it on verse 38 where it says God, take the other finger, put it on verse 23 and say Jesus and see the name Jesus, you realize the one that started it was God and the one that finished it was God, who is Jesus. And if you got your two fingers there, you find out that what Jesus told John on the Isle of Patmos is true. I am Alpha and Omega. I'm the beginning at God, verse 38. And I'm the end, which is Jesus at verse number 23. I'm just priming you for next week. If you were to count the genealogies from Jesus, verse 23, to God, verse 38, and when you get a chance at home, please do it. You're going to count the genealogy, and it's going to be 77 names, including God. And then he tells it the second time, from God at verse 38 to Jesus at verse 23. And if you count it in that direction, you still end up with 77 generations, counting Jesus at verse 23. And that brings to pass another scripture by the Apostle Paul. He's the author God at verse 38, and the finisher, God at verse number 23. I'm just giving you a little prime for next week. And because I'm not going to be up here long. And so 77. 7 is his perfect number. And so there's repetition, and the repetition of 4 is maximally important. So in the Bible, most repetitions take place 4 times. And if it's repeated 4 times, that means it's maximally important. So if you see something repeated twice, it's more important than if it was repeated once. If it's repeated 3 times, it's more important than if it was repeated 2 times. If it's repeated 4 times, it's more important than if it was repeated 3 times. The thing that's interesting here is from verse 23 to verse 38, from Jesus to God, is 77 generations. That's 2 sevens. And of course that's important. That means he's not just a 7, but he's a 7-7. That means he's perfectly perfect. But we still got to pick up those other 2 sevens, because if it's repeated 4 times, it's maximally important. And we find then that if we take it from Jesus to God, verse 23 to verse 38, you got the 2 sevens. But if you bring it backwards, back from 38 to 23, you got the other 2 sevens. And so now you got 7, 7, 7, 7. You got the 4 sevens, which means he's maximally important. He's the perfect of the perfect. There's nothing more perfect than him. Tell somebody he's the perfect, 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 perfect. And here is what and I'm going to leave this with you. Here's what the enigma is. That if he's God perfect, and then when we get to Jesus coming out of the womb of humanity to prove he's human, he's still perfect as Jesus. The question that is the conundrum of the ages is, it mentions the genealogies, the beginning from God to Adam, to Seth, to Enos, to Cainan, to Mahalalel, to Jared, to Enoch, Methuselah, Lamesh, Noah, Shem, Arphaxad, onward to Jesus. Come on now. So here he is. He's perfect as God. He arrives perfect. And the genealogies in between the two is full of the most horrible human beings that could ever exist, that they are a part of his genealogical tree. The question is how could the perfect God, perfect in the beginning, perfect in the end, have such horrible characters that begat and begat and begat and begat him? You got 2 prostitutes, Tamar and Rahab. You got a woman that went dancing on the roof, Bathsheba. You got Noah, who was a drunkard, and Abraham, who was a liar, and Solomon, who was schizophrenic, and David, who had a dysfunctional family, all between the perfection. I would have thought that if I were God, I would just have perfect people in between. And so the thing that we got to address is, how did we end up from Seth to Joseph having nothing but imperfect, horrific characters? It's something that we've got to take a look at it. Jacob was a con man. Judah slept with his daughter-in-law, and she knew she wanted Judah to sleep with her, so she dressed up as a prostitute. And we preached like she tricked him. He knew who she was. She knew who he was. You read the scripture, she knew exactly who he was. Amen. All these horrific characters in the genealogical tree of Jesus. And every time he got through with every one of them, they were much better than they were when they first appeared in that tree. And if someone says, well, I'm so messed up that he'll never take me in, you better look in his genealogical tree, because those that are in his tree are worse than you could ever be. Somebody say amen. All right, well, we're going to stop there. Yeah, it's a teaser. We're going to stop there. You're going to have to come back and find out how he cleaned them up. Amen. And so we'll talk about that next week. He is a trash collector. And he has that ability. I like this part. He has that ability to take your sins away. And he won't tell you where they are, because flesh will go and try to get them back. But look at somebody and tell them, he took my sin away. He took my sins away. So when you go home, read the verses between Luke 3:23 through 38, and you're going to see it's 76 generations. But if you put God in, who's perfect, that's what makes it 77. And if you read from God back to Jesus, it's 76 generations. But when you put Jesus in, it's 77. To let you know that numbers with God means everything in this Bible has a deep meaning if you spend the time to pursue it. And so I just want you to know that there is no sin so great that he doesn't have the ability to snatch you from where you are, drag you into his family tree, and fix you up. He can change an Abram to an Abraham. He can change a Jacob to an Israel. He can change a Saul to a Paul. He can change a Simon to a Peter. He just got the ability. Amen. His name, his poetic name is Yah, Y-A-H, Yah. And he'll fix you up by stepping inside your name. Yah, Y-A-H. He says, that lying Abraham, I need to get him right. So he said, the only way to get him right is to get in him. And the only way to get us right is to get in us. The only way to get him right is to get in him. So he changed his name. Let's see if you hear God get in him. His name is Yah. He changed his name from Abram to Abraham. Did somebody hear him step in? What about Sarai? He changed her name to Sarah. Did you see him? We call him Isaiah. His Hebrew name is Yeshayah. We call him Jeremiah, but his Hebrew name is Yirmiah. And my name is Donna. Somebody, did y'all hear him step in by day? Amen. Give me a shout of your name and let's see if he's in your name. And ta. Amen. Somebody need to get up and come back next Sunday so you can hear this. Somebody need to get up right now. Now he'll step in the middle of your name. He's a trash collector. Get up. Come to the Lord right now. God wants to save you.